Hi everybody, welcome back to Goodnight, Lighthouse. I'm Miss Dorothy and I'm here to read you another story. And I've got another book about pumpkins. So many books about pumpkins. But that's because everywhere I look I see pumpkins these days. Pumpkins at the pumpkin patch, pumpkins at the farmer's market, pumpkin in the grocery store. Lots of pumpkins. But I've got a question about pumpkins that I don't know if we even know the answer to. Because the name of this book is, How Many Seeds in a Pumpkin? How many seeds are in a pumpkin? Wow, how do you find out how many seeds are in a pumpkin? We've talked about how if you plant a seed, you can grow lots of pumpkins, but how many seeds are inside the pumpkin? We need to get inside this book and find out if these kids can figure out how many seeds are in a pumpkin. Are you ready to get inside this book with Miss Dorothy? Good. I need you to sit up and listen up, because here we go.
How Many Seeds in a Pumpkin? Written by Margaret McNamara and G. Brian Carras. Charlie liked school. He liked his teacher, Mr. Tiffin. He liked his best friend, Alex. But he did not like lining up to go into school. Mr. Tiffin's class lined up by size, tallest to smallest or smallest to tallest. Charlie was the smallest in the class every time. Oh, Charlie is a little smaller than everybody else. One chilly fall morning, Charlie was surprised to see 3 bright orange pumpkins on Mr. Tiffin's desk. One pumpkin was big, one was medium, and one was small. How many seeds in a pumpkin? Mr. Tiffin asked the class. Does anybody know? That's a good question. How many seeds are in a pumpkin? Nobody knew, but everybody has ideas. The biggest one has the most, said Robert. I bet it has 1,000,000 seeds. Robert was the tallest boy in the class. The medium one has 500, Elinor said. Elinor always sounded as if she knew exactly what she was talking about. The tiny one has 22, said Anna. Anna liked even numbers better than odd ones. Mr. Tiffin wrote down all the guesses on the blackboard. Charlie was very quiet. What are you thinking, Charlie? Asked Mr. Tiffin. I'm thinking that all the best guesses are taken, Charlie said. Why don't we open the pumpkins up and see, said Mr. Tiffin. Well, that's a good idea. The next day, the kids in Mr. Tiffin's class brought in spoons for scooping and bowls for holding and plastic bags for throwing out. They covered the floor with newspaper. They put on their smocks. It's messy business counting pumpkin seeds, said Mr. Tiffin, but the class was ready. They're going to open up the pumpkins and count the seeds. After Mr. Tiffin cut a circle around each pumpkin stem, Cammie, Alex, and Jake pulled off the caps. The children peered inside. Oh, this big one definitely has the most, said Robert. We'll see, said Mr. Tiffin. The pumpkin pulp was slimy and stringy, and the seeds were hard to get out. That is a messy job. When the children were finished, there were 3 empty pumpkins and 3 full bowls and 20 messy hands. Tomorrow we'll find out the answer to our questions, said Mr. Tiffin. Tonight your homework is to think about how we should count all the seeds. Wow, that's interesting homework. That afternoon, Mr. Tiffin dried the seeds. The next day, he put them in 3 paper bags marked big, medium, and small. Did you do your thinking homework? He asked the class. Yes, Alex said. I think we should just guess. I think we should count very, very carefully, said Tara. I think we should count by 2s, 5s, and 10s, said Molly. These are all good ideas. The class agreed that Molly had a good idea. Robert, Kimmy, and Jake all wanted to count the seeds in the big pumpkin by 2s. Anna asked if she could join them. We can be the 2s club, she said. They practiced counting. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, they said together. They're counting by 2s. Jeremy, Tara, Elinor, Molly, and Alex liked counting by 5s. We'll count the seeds in the medium pumpkin, said Molly. We can be the 5s club. 5, 10, 15, 20, they cheered. They're counting by 5s. I'll take the smallest pumpkin, said Charlie. I guess I'll be in the 10s club. Good idea, said Mr. Tiffin. 10, 20, 30, Charlie began. He's counting by 10s. Soon there were many groups of seeds in front of each pumpkin. They're separating all the seeds for counting. The Twos Club. See, said Robert, the Twos Club has the most. They had 170 pairs of seeds. That is a lot. The Fives Clubs. We have lots too, said Elinor. They had 63 groups of 5 seeds and 1 seed left over. The Tens Club. Charlie had exactly 35 groups of 10 seeds. Robert looked in front of the seeds in front of Charlie. You don't have a whole lot, he said. Let's get counting, said Mr. Tiffin. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, began Robert, Kimmy, Jake, and Anna. It took a long time to count 170 pairs of seeds. My brain hurts, said Anna. The biggest pumpkin had 340 seeds. Almost 1,000,000, said Jake. The fives were a little easier. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, chanted Jeremy, Tara, Elinor, and Molly. There were 316 seeds in the medium pumpkin. Too bad for you, said Robert. It's not a contest, said Molly. So far, the biggest pumpkin has the most seeds. The tens were the fastest of all, since they were just 35 groups. 10, 20, 30, 40, Charlie counted to himself. This can't be right, he said. What can't be right? Asked Mr. Tiffin. There are 350 seeds in my little pumpkin, said Charlie. That means it has the most of all. So it does, said Mr. Tiffin. Congratulations, Charlie, said Alex. The 10 clubs win. It's not a contest, said Robert. The littlest pumpkin had the most seeds. Mr. Tiffin told the class to gather around. You can never tell just how many seeds are in a pumpkin until you open it, he said. But there may be some clues. Take a good look at these. The class did. Charlie's is darker orange, said Anna. And it has more lines on the outside, said Robert. Yep, said Mr. Tiffin. For each line on the outside, there is a row of seeds on the inside. That's good to know, said Elinor. And the longer the pumpkin grows, the more lines it gets, he added. Its skin gets darker, too. So even though my pumpkin was the smallest, it was on the vine the longest, said Charlie. Exactly, agreed Mr. Griffin. That is so interesting. When it was time to go home, the class lined up by the door. Smallest to tallest this time, said Mr. Tiffin. Robert was at the back. Elinor was in the middle. Charlie was at the front. Small things can have a lot going on inside them, Charlie said to Mr. Tiffin. And then they left the classroom with Charlie leading the way. And Charlie figured out that being the smallest is not so bad after all.
Wow, that was amazing! Did you see what happened? Charlie had the smallest pumpkin, and Charlie didn't like that he was the smallest in the class, and that made him feel bad. So he figured his pumpkin wouldn't have a lot of seeds. But the smallest pumpkin had the most seeds. How does that even happen? And you know what? You couldn't tell from looking on the outside what's going on the inside. And it's the same with Charlie. He might be the smallest kid in class, but that doesn't mean he's not the smartest or the bravest or the brightest. Just because you might look different on the outside doesn't change what's on the inside, just like with the pumpkins. The littlest pumpkin was the best pumpkin. The littlest pumpkin had the most seeds. So exciting. We learned a lot today. We learned a lot about counting. We learned how many seeds you can find in a pumpkin. And we learned that just because somebody's little doesn't mean that they're not as good as everybody else, because you don't know what's going on the inside. That might be the smartest kid in class. That might be the friendliest kid in class. Just because they're the littlest doesn't mean they're not the best. Just like with the pumpkins. What a great book. What a great lesson. I am loving all these books about fall and pumpkins. We're learning so much and having so much fun along the way. If you have a favorite fall book, you can tell Miss Dorothy about it. You can write me a note. I'll go find it and I'll read it to you. Maybe even in the fall time. You just need to ask Mom and Dad about that. But remember, whatever Mom and Dad say, obey, and obey right away. And then come back and see Miss Dorothy, because I'm going to be sitting right here, ready to read another book to you. Bye!
Thanks for reading with Miss Dorothy. I hope you enjoyed this book, and I hope you'll come back soon to read another. What's your favorite book? Drop Miss Dorothy a note and let me know. I'll go find it and I'll read it to you. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you soon.